Awesome. What up, guys? We're back. Replicon Radio. We got a special treat for everybody today. He's not even supposed to be here today, but we're thankful that he is. Give it up for our friend Brian O Halloran. How you doing, man?
How's it going, Freaky P? How you doing?
It's going good, man. It's going good. Excited to see you this morning. Thanks for taking the time to come hang out with us.
Oh, not at all, man. I'm really glad to be on and glad to talk about the upcoming shows we're doing. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's exciting times. Um, so I don't know if you remember or not. I know you do a lot of stuff, but the last time we talked was actually I think it was 2022 at the last St. Louis Wizard World Con.
Oh wow, that was a while ago. Yeah.
Yeah, you like Clerks 3 was just kind of like being talked about.
Correct.
You couldn't really say anything about it. So if you guys are watching this right now, I'm definitely going to spoil it at some point. Just so you guys, just to get ahead of it, if anybody doesn't want to be spoiled, and you haven't seen Clerks 3, I don't know what you're waiting for, but
Exactly. Get on it.
right. But I definitely want to talk about that. But I'll go back to it just so we can talk about the upcoming stuff. Obviously, one of the big reasons we're here is to talk about Chronicon, which is going down this weekend, the 11th through the 13th in Chicago, the Hyatt Regency O'Hare. So this is the first ever Chronicon for real. What are your anticipations for this event?
The anticipation is high. When Kevin had wrote Jay and Silent Bob reboot movie, which was pretty much a big kind of poke at his own, relevance and stuff. It was very funny when they did the Chronic Con, when the Kevin Smith decided to have his own convention all about Kevin Smith in the movie. And it was quite fun making the movie, but it did put a bug in all of us to be like, we could probably do one of these things. You have enough films in the catalog. You have enough actors who do these things. You also have enough people who don't do these things that it would be a kind of cool, unique experience for the fans. So then when it would be like, well, obviously we'd have it in Jersey. And, when we talked to the promoters we then worked with Kevin to do it, it just seemed logical to have it. So the fare travel cost wise for everybody to be able to go to Chicago. Chicago's an amazing city. Right. The Hyatt O'Hare, which I've been to before, is right next to the O'Hare Airport. So it's easy to get to, even if you just fly in for the day. I know fares to Chicago can be cheap sometimes if you catch the right sale. Right. That it was just a no-brainer. Like, yeah, man, let's do an all view askew universe kind of a con. So I was glad I was asked to be a part of it, and Jay and Kevin, and obviously Marilyn Gigliotti, and you got Shannon Elizabeth was added on, Tommy Chong.
That's
like
awesome.
the list is insane.
Yeah, it's incredible. Yeah, absolutely. The Midwest. So if anybody's even on the fence, like you said, it's actually really easy to get to. You just fly in, and the convention and the hotel are just right there. You don't have to rent a car. You get an Uber, it might cost you $10 or something. Like it's probably.
I actually think the Hyatt has a shuttle from the airport.
Perfect.
You literally just get there, have a fun time, and and then get on home. You could be.
And it's right in the Midwest. It's like you said, it's in Chicago, so it's same distance for everybody in America.
And we're hoping that if enough people attend this, we'll do it again. That's our plan, is to do it again. And we're debating whether to then move it, like take it around on tour, like. One time, out in Vegas or LA, another time in Florida, another time in Dallas. So we're seeing how it is. It all depends on if you folks come out to this one.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why it's one of the reasons I want people to go, because I'm excited. I'm going to be out there hanging out and checking it out, and hopefully for anybody that can't make it, hopefully we'll get a little bit of coverage for you so you can see what you're missing. But yeah, I want it to be, because obviously this is awesome. We already talked about a couple of the guests you mentioned, but like, there's so much more in this universe. I'm just imagining the possibilities of.
We have Genesis Rodriguez from Tusk. We have Raquel Castro from Jersey Girl. So we're going to rotate casts from different of the Kevin Smith films as well. Like next year, where they're talking about doing Mallrats, so you'll have like Jeremy London and Michael Rooker and Ethan Suplee and things like that coming to the show. So we'd be able to rotate guests as well. So that's the hope. That's the plan. You know, it's an idea. We're going to see if it works. If it doesn't, we'll all have a great time no matter what this weekend. But in the meantime, it's going to be great. Myself and Ming Chen are going to be hosting a karaoke night one night. There's going to be like 4 or 5 live podcasts that you can sit in the audience and attend, and it's all included in your ticket price. Photo ops with, legendary characters like Jay and Silent Bob, but also, Tommy Chong and myself and Marilyn Gigliotti, excuse me, and a few others. So you're going to have so much stuff on your schedule. Even if I'm not a big fan of such and such, you should be a fan of so and so. Then you know what I mean.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm already stressing about. There's never no time to like enjoy Chicago because there's so much to do at this event, which is it's a good problem to have, obviously.
Yeah.
And if you guys definitely check out the VIP karaoke the first night. I've seen how you guys get down at Astronomicon. So I can only imagine in the whole View Askew universe how ridiculous it's going to be out there.
Yeah, we're going to try to bring some of the guests up on stage, have them sing a tune. Who knows? Maybe Tommy Chong will sing something for us.
There you go. That's a moment. And another thing I wanted to mention for everybody that's maybe on the fence, which I thought was, I don't know how often he does it, but I thought it was a big deal for this event, is Kevin Smith. Obviously, he's doing podcasts and photo ops and all that stuff. But in between that, he's actually going to be at his table at this event. Yeah. Because that's not a normal thing for Kevin. Normally, it's like you have to get the extra.
Correct. You usually have to buy the tickets extra and stuff like that. But what's good about this is, yes, there's be a lot more access to people than you would normally have at a normal Comic-Con. Normally, he'll come in, do 2 hours at a very large Comic-Con, and then do photo ops and then be done. This is the whole weekend. So it's a great time to come. I mean, he has hours and hours and hours of talking in him. So, the podcasts are going to be full of information.
Oh, yeah.
And the thing is that you get to tell him things or ask him things and just interact. Everybody's such a laid back kind of crew when it comes to the View Askew universe kind of, group of actors and whatnot, because we're fans as well. I'm fans of Tommy's work. I'm fans of, Shannon Elizabeth's work. And it's a lot of fun just to see how these fans will react. I'm looking forward to see how the place is just set up, to be honest with you. I think it's going to be kind of cool. And the vendors too. I've a whole bunch of vendors have reached out during these past couple of months wanting to be a part of this. So you're going to have some really great, cool vendors that are going to be there. And I think artists like Dave Santia is going to be there, awesome. He literally does a live painting in front of you. You have no idea what he's painting. And then boom, I think he then turns it upside down and it's revealed. So he's another cool cat to come and catch. Plus there's just going to be a lot of good merch and swag. The guys, Mike Zabsig is going to be there from the Jay and Silent Bob Secret Stash.
Which that's a rare thing too, right? Generally travel.
Zabsik usually is at the store, running the store. So to get him out of the store and have him at a con is a great thing. So it's the list goes on. And like I said, this hopefully won't be the only one. There'll be more with, like I said, a rotating cast of characters. But I hope that we can get this one off with a big bang.
Yeah, I got high hopes for the Justin Long in costume Tusk photo op someday.
See, there you go.
That's the one we need for sure. And even if you're a comic book fan, if you have Mike and Ming have a good time, they might be able to get Walt into a bus or something. And
you know what? I took when I was 18. I remember I went to a convention up in Milwaukee, and we took the train from New York City to Chicago. Amtrak, and it was fun. You had a long stop in like Altoona, and I think somewhere in like Toledo or something like that. But the train is great. Plus, there's Wi-Fi, and there's a cafe car if you're hungry. So that's another great way of getting to Chicago. So if you could do it. We'd love to have Johnson and Flanagan there as well, and bring the whole team together like the Super Friends. You never know. Next year you can see it.
Yeah, it's on you guys that are watching this to come out, show these guys a good time, So then they talk about it, and it grows, and then we can get everybody out there. And
Absolutely.
it's all us. Just like with the movies, we got to go out and watch them, and that's how they get made. You know what I mean? So that's awesome. I hope it does fantastic. I think it's a great idea. It blows my mind that it actually took this long to happen.
Yeah, it had been bouncing around for quite a few, quite a few years. And a matter of fact, it took a back burner when the idea of the Cruise Askew, the View Askew cruise we just did this past February, came into fruition. Which that was like 2 years ago. That idea started, and then Kevin's like, "Yeah, let's see if we can find a company." And this great company called Sixth Man, who holds these kind of theme cruises. Then were approached and said, "Yeah, let's book some guests and let's book a bunch of bands who played music on a bunch of the movies." And we had quite a huge response, practically a sold out response of the cruise ship, of all these View Askew fans. We were on the water for 4 days. We left Miami to Bahamas and back, and it was a lot of fun. Once again, a lot of live podcasts, a lot of bands. I had a bar crawl that they had one planned. It sold out immediately, so much so it crashed the website. They asked me to add 2 more bar crawls. And I was like, well, not on the same day. I won't.
Right.
So it's a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun on that. So spinning it from that, the next step was like, well, let's do this again, but here on land. And we decided, let's do it. Chronicon was just a no-brainer.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's going to be incredible. Yeah, the one that you mentioned, bands. That's what I remember. I was giving shout out to the guys at Astronomicon and those guys. I know they've done a lot for this. I was telling Mike we need freaking Soul Asylum. Like, what, how can you have a Chronicon without Soul Asylum? Man?
Right. That's something. Yeah, they're on tour currently right now, so probably their schedule wasn't available. But they were amazing on the ship. They did 2 shows, 2 nights on the ship. Really great. It was such a great. Dave Perner sounds incredible. The whole band behind him is playing just as they did in the 90s. So I look forward to hopefully having him at one of these as well. Or you know what I was saying? I was talking to somebody. I was at another convention this past weekend in Owensboro, Kentucky, and we were talking about, oh, you never know, maybe we can get Alanis Morissette to show up, and she could sign, but also do 4 or 5 songs, and wouldn't that be something? The god of the universe, View Askew universe,
a god concert. That'd be insane, right? That'd be awesome. Or even just some rooftop hoppy with Soul Asylum, then we're good.
Rooftop hop. You know what? I bet you there's a spot. There's a spot in that hotel, another ballroom that they should put down the plastic, street hockey floor, and have the opportunity, for fans to play the View Askew crew. I think that would be fun.
That would be awesome. So we're coming up with all kinds of great ideas.
Yeah, of course.
So you're doing the karaoke the first night with me for all the VIPs. You got to get a VIP ticket if you guys want to be a part of that. And then you're doing a Clerks panel on Saturday, and and then on Sunday, I don't know if you're going to be a part of it, but they're doing the everyone gets to be you essentially.
Yeah.
For the Clerks auditions. Am I even supposed to be here today, line?
Yeah, so Austin and Trevor are holding the auditions, and so it'd be kind of fun. I definitely will stick my head into that because it's just so surreal. I mean, it was surreal in when they were doing it in Clerks 3 to sit there and watch these guys audition. So for the fact that you get to have the fans do it, and everybody has their own interpretation, which as an actor, that's what you do. You make a choice. Sometimes it's not conventional. Sometimes it's a unique and fun choice, and you go with it. So I look forward to seeing how the auditions go.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun for a lot of people to be able to audition for that, and it's a cool thing. So yeah, I want to talk about Clerks 3 a little bit before we let you go. Obviously, you mentioned that. Like, first of all, I want to ask what that was kind of like. Like, obviously, the first spoiler is they're essentially making Clerks in Clerks 3. Yeah. Was that like weird for you to like almost like an out of body experience to watch? Obviously it's probably weird for Kevin because it's his life, but it's also your life now because you're Dante.
Yeah, the idea of that, where Dante and Randall decide to make a movie about their work environment, actually came out back in 2000 when Kevin and us were doing the Clerks animated series for ABC. And it was one of the ideas of one of the future episodes because we thought, oh, we're totally going to get picked up and do more episodes. So the idea of them making the movie Clerks came years and years ago. The fact that when it came to a Clerks 3, now there was another version of Clerks 3 script that was a very darker Clerks 3. This is before Kevin had his heart attack, before the pandemic. It was kind of, you know, it just didn't feel like exactly what it should have been. And then we also had a producer on board who produced the second movie that we really didn't want to work with this time around. So we kind of walked away from Kevin with that one. And then when he had his heart attack, years had gone by, he decided to take a new approach with this script and to then do the script that you now see. In reading it, I loved it. I thought it was, first of all, the fact that we're making the movie, once again, hilarious idea. I loved it back then. I loved it again. And then bringing in the other characters, obviously Elias and now Blockchain, played by Austin Zager, was a really cool add to the cast. And then to go through the scenes, actually to see what scenes we're going to shoot of the making of the Clerks movie was a weird time machine trip, because some of the actual stories come from the actual happenings of what happened in the film, of us filming the original film. So if you had told me, 30 years ago, if I popped out of a TARDIS and like, you're going to be back here in 28 years doing the same bullshit all over again, I'd be like, oh my God, kill me now. I never grew as an actor. That kind of thing. But it was kind of trippy being back in the store. And if any of the fans have been there, you see it inside. It's very tiny. It's not a huge convenience store. It's not like a giant 7-Eleven. But it was, nothing had really changed. The owners took that overhead cigarette holder down and it's just glass now, but they kept it. So we were able to find it and put it back up for Clerks 3. And what used to be on the one side where the magazine rack of porn mags is now like all head shop stuff. So it's like bongs and, lighter, rolling papers and whatnot. But everything else is exactly the same. The coolers in the middle, the fridges in the back, the coffee machine, it's all legitimately the same. So it was just fun. And the owners are the same too. So we got to work with the same people all over again, the Topper family. So it was just for 4 weeks that we were there, just odd, just trippy to be doing this again and again, or even literally doing scenes that we filmed 30 years ago. So, or them recreating the sweater I had back then. Like I didn't have the sweater at the end of the movie where I'm getting ready for the date. Because in the original ending, spoiler alert, Dante gets shot and killed in the original ending of the original movie, which ruined the sweater. So I didn't have it. So they took, stills of what it was. And I told them what brand it was. They couldn't find one, but they got a knitter to knit a whole brand new sweater. So when you see me in the scenes with that sweater, someone actually made that sweater. And so recreating those scenes was just a weird trip. And then Kevin's spin, of writing what he knew. He had suffered a heart attack himself. And just the experience of going through that, thinking that, is this going to be my end? And when someone sees their mortality right in front of them, sometimes it wakes them up to, I should live every day as if it's my last, because one day it will be. And the way he weaved it into this script was beautiful, I thought.
Yeah, I can't even imagine, like, even just as a fan, like, obviously I've been watching these movies, most of my life. So even as a fan, well, first of all, it was surreal to like see that again so many years later. Like, just for me, like, I can only imagine you lived it, and now you're really, what I mean? Like, it's insane as a fan. So then obviously another spoiler alert, you died.
Yes. So in the script, well, he tried killing me in the first movie. So in a way, this was a long time coming. I was able to dodge literally the first bullet, but not this one. I think it's a beautiful ending in a way. When we had literally within the first 5 minutes of the movie, one of the major characters, Becky, Dante's wife, played by Rosario Dawson, you find out, spoiler alert, she has also passed away. And then you find out later on in the film as to why. And he has been, just so depressed and just lost since then. And in knowing that struggle, I thought it was a great way to speak to people who have had loss like that and who had gone through that. And I thought I had to do it justice enough to know that pain, to know that anxiety, to know that loss. So the fact that I get to go out, if it's good enough for Han Solo and Tony Stark, it's good enough for me.
No, it really was. I mean, the only thing I like, first of all, it's definitely the most I've ever cried at what's supposed to be a comedy.
Right on.
I mean, I'm like sobbing in the theater, and it means
you cared. It means you cared. If you didn't cry, you didn't care.
Like, you don't even. I honestly, at least for me, and people, some of my friends or whatever, it's like you don't even realize how much you're connected to these characters until this movie, and then you're like, Jesus, why am I crying this hard? Right. Like, you talking to Rosario, like, I'm like, Jesus Christ, poor Dante. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then obviously, he gets the heart attack first. Spoiler again. There's all kinds of spoilers here. Sorry, guys, if you haven't seen it, get out there. But you're like, I mean, it's like roller coaster of heartstrings. Like,
and funny. and that's that thing too. Yeah. It's also very, very funny. Like we recreate the scene where Jay and Silent Bob dance outside the RST video in which Jay can't perform in front of people. That's true. That's based on the actual event that happened. Where he was so nervous. I mean, he was a 17-year-old kid at that time, just so nervous to be part of anything like this. So to have been able to do that, we all had to just push start and walk into the store, but then scream cut. It was so many things came from real life.
It's incredible. Yeah, it really is like a full circle moment, obviously for you guys and for us, the viewers. Like, it's insane. I can't even think of movies that do that. Like, it's just like
and you know what else though? You got to realize that this probably won't be the last Clerks. We were able to bring Becky back, obviously. If they're going to bring me back, I said, well, I need to come back as a Jedi Force ghost, if anything. I can see Randall seeing Dante coming back only as a Force ghost. So that would be a fun way. He had an idea that maybe since Elias, spoiler alert, goes to the dark side, decides to raise up. He finds like the Necronomicon and decides to raise up the body of Dante. That's the only way Jeff said he'd come back. Is if Dante is like a zombie. He's like a grayish kind of green. Oh, yeah. And people are like, you don't look so good, Dante. 250. I don't know.
That's awesome. That'd be hilarious. And one more thing about Clerks, like, obviously, like I said, that's a really emotional movie, and I wouldn't say it's different, but it's it's a little deeper than dick jokes and whatnot.
Well, we've grown. That's it. We've matured, and these are topics that Kevin has grown into.
It's real life,
yeah.
Have you seen as the response? Obviously, you're at cons all the time, every week. Maybe not every weekend, but pretty often. You're out there a lot. Yeah. Has the response from the people been different? Like, is it more like hugs and tears now than it was like dick jokes and whatever?
Well, when we did the roadshow screenings, where Kevin went to 49 cities, 52 screenings, I was able to be part of like 12 of them, and it's hearing their responses. They're watching the movie in the theater and the meet and greet afterwards. And there is a lot of hugs and why would they do that to you? And some people just spilling their true story about their own life experience, either family members or themselves having a heart issue that nearly killed them, or people who have actually lost people who said they died. They didn't come back from what they had, and some people have told me they changed their life, because they had been not in the greatest of shape, and they went to a doctor, and the doctor did tests and said, oh, you need to get yourself straightened out. You may have a stroke or heart attack soon. So when you have more of that kind of conversation, I'm absolutely glad and proud if that's the conversation we start about, and it is. It's just we do the dick and fart jokes, yes. We do the donkey shows, of course. We play the hockey. We talk Star Wars almost every movie. But as you see, if you watch Kevin's films from the very beginning, in the order he makes them all the way up, you can see where personally Kevin Smith is in his own life and what his concerns or loves are at that moment. Like his recent movie, the 4:30 movie that's in theaters, but also just went to on demand and streaming. That's a love letter to when he was a kid in the 80s and him and his friends would sneak into movie theaters and that kind of thing. And that's where he became his love of his movies, especially going with his father. So you can see every time Kevin does a film, it is something, a piece of him is coming out for the audience.
Yeah, that's also a beautiful movie too. If you guys haven't seen it yet,
Yeah.
Go get it. And if you can't get that steel book on Amazon, it's like looks like VHS. It's
right,
like reel to reel. I love it, man. I love to see it, and it's crazy how it's like we all grew up together, and now we're experiencing emotions, and it's truly is like a cool thing. And now we all get to celebrate it together. The whole universe is coming together this weekend for the first time for ChronicCon.
That's right, man. Come on out, kids. It's going to be Chicago. You're going to want to be Chicago this weekend. And like I said, it could be a quick day trip. It's awesome. I'll be there all 3 days. We'll be hosting a karaoke party. I'll also be part of the Clerks panel. And I'll probably be dipping into that Clerks audition. And you never know, I may sit in on one or two of the podcasts.
Awesome. So he's going to be out there. You can get a photo op. You can get those at chronicconforreal.com. There's one with you. There's one with you in Maryland, and then there's a whole
Clerks
whole cast.
3-1. Yeah.
Even Mrs. Smith is going to.
That's right. That's right. Who the ex fiancée of Dante herself.
Right. She's a villain in that movie.
Emma. It is, but she did a great job. It was great seeing her again and having her part of it as well.
And then there you go. There's a flyer for everybody as well. Tons of amazing guests there as well. Obviously, come hang out. The whole Smith family is going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Tommy Chung, everybody.
You also got Robert Kurtzman, who built the seal. The walrus from Tusk, and a bunch of others. So definitely come out, talk to him. He's a great guy to talk with. Genesis Rodriguez, of course, her career has exploded. And of course, Boo Boo Kitty herself, Shannon Elizabeth, Austin Jazier, and Trevor Furman. You know, Trevor is another one who gets out rarely, so it's a good one to catch him. And Jen. Jen only comes to very few of these, so it's a good time to get her autograph. And of course, his lovely daughter, Harley, who's been in a ton of stuff. She'll be there as well. Get everybody while you can. Tommy Chung,
Booker Nun herself.
Tommy Chung, living legend, the OG, Jay and Silent Bob. There would be no Jay and Silent Bob if there was no Cheech and Chong.
It's gonna be an incredible time. You can go to ChronicCon for real. Spell out the word for, FOR, not the number. You can get tickets, VIP. You can look at all the information. There's tons of stuff going on. It's going down this weekend. And then I know last time we chatted, you had just did a couple like independent films, and then you were working on or you were like the Crypt Keeper in the Tales from the Curio Cabinet comic book.
Yes, Tales from the Curio Cabinet. The guys over at Rocket Ink Studios Comics came out with this great compendium of 6 stories where I was a curio shop owner, and they were these guys they got 6 different artists and 6 different writers to write these short stories, kind of like the movie Creep Show. You can find that at rocketinkstudios.com. Also, the guys over at Mess Bucket Comics. I'm part of the Donnybrook hockey series. You can go to messbucketcomics.com for that. And a couple of other independent films I've been working on. I'm working on a television show right now called Heavy Hitters, about young men in the high school being recruited to be in the major leagues. Hopefully that'll be out next year. And then I'll make a quick cameo, if you don't see it, toward the ends of a 4:30 movie. But also I have a show I've worked on that'll hopefully be out on Fox in February. I'll be able to talk about that in February.
Sweet. Awesome. So tons of stuff going on. Maybe we can have you back on and talk about that.
Absolutely.
Everybody go out, watch the movies, come to ChronicCon. We're still hoping for a Clerks cartoon reboot. I know you guys have been trying to do that for a while.
That's the thing I bug Kevin the most. where I'm just like, listen, look, Disney owns the rights to the original artwork, the original style, some of the characters. And the only outlet I could see us when going through that company is Hulu. Kevin has talked about this before. Before we made Clerks 3, he had approached Hulu because Hulu had signed on Justin Roiland for his Solar Opposites show and a couple of other shows. And he's like, hey, I see you guys are getting back into animation. We'd love to, you guys own this. The pre-production's already is done. We literally could start making episodes in like a week and a half. We just get certain writers back in, certain animators back in, and we start making more. And they were like, nah, we good. But that was before Justin had an issue going on in his life. So we haven't, I don't know if Kevin's reapproached them to do it that way. Otherwise, Kevin has the rights to do a Clerks animated series any way he wants. So I said, listen, let's do it in a art style similar to like, I don't know, Rick and Morty or whatever. And just do it a different art style. So that's the thing I think we bug. I have a professional studio, recording studio and equipment here. I know since the pandemic, almost everybody went out and bought, stuff to do their own kind of productions. I know Jay does. If anybody follows him on Twitch, he's literally on it every day. So it's something I think simple and easy that can fill in the 3 movies, everything from the very first movie to the very last movie and beyond. You can do in animation. So
you can definitely be a Jedi in animation.
Yeah, exactly. So and we still have our voices. The faces are starting to get a little rough to look at, but we at least have our voices to be these characters. So that's the thing that I think if there's any other way Clerks should come back, it should be that. Because then you could do where Dante gets raised as a zombie, and just imagine the goofy, fun shit that can happen in animation with that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it'd be awesome. So when you guys are out there this weekend, bug Kevin. Tell him that's what you want. I know he's talked about it before, but you'd have to change the name and not do Leonardo.
And to be honest with you, it's not bugging Kevin as much as like bug Hulu, bug Disney. Say, hey, man, you guys own this. It's in your catalog. You literally can say, all right, open up the storage unit and go, yeah, maybe we'll bring this shit out and do it because it's all there. It's ready to go. And when we were making it back in 99, 2000, technology was a lot slower and a little bit more expensive to make episodes. Right. Now, shit, I mean, the software is so easy, not to steal from Geico, but even a caveman can do it.
Right. That's perfect, man. Hell yeah. I love it. Yeah, hopefully it happens. We definitely don't want Dante to die.
No.
He did, but we don't, you know what I mean? Live
I
on
got
forever.
Bills to pay. I got bills to pay.
Hook him up, man. We'll see you out there at ChronicCon. It's going down this weekend, guys.
I look forward to seeing you, Freaky P.
I will be there, my friend. It's going to be awesome. ChronicConforreal.com, Hyatt Regency O'Hare. You can fly right in. It's right there. It's going to be a great time. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Check out ChronicConforreal.com. And any last words, any shout out, anything you wanted to mention that I didn't bring up? Or
No, just thank you everybody who comes up to me to the shows and stuff and really express their love for the movies and how it meant to them. And I look forward to seeing more of you. If you're out there watching this from an area or a part of the world that we've never visited for your local convention, the best thing to do is to go on the local convention's social media, request that you invite us to your local con. Yes, we're having our own con this weekend, but we obviously do other people's cons as well. So go out and request us to come to your local con, and then they'll hook us up with inviting us out. That's the best way that we get to your con. We just don't show up and go, hey, I want to do your show. The people who produce it go, hey, we'd love to have you, give you a hotel and set you up with a table for it. So that's the best way to do it, folks. Go and hit up the interwebs there and tell people, hey, we want the Clerks gang.
Absolutely. Yeah, hit them up. And then follow Brian on social media. What's it, just Brian O Halloran?
Brian C. O Halloran on both Instagram and X. The Brian C. O Halloran on Facebook. Meta. Awesome, man. Everything's changing names.
Yeah, right. Awesome, man. Well, thank you for hanging out with me. We'll see you this weekend in Chicago. And
I look forward to it. It's going to be a blast. Everybody get there.
Awesome, man. Much love.
Take care.
Peace, everybody.